The thing is I can recognize I might be paranoid for no reason, but the past couple of episodes of watching Tower of God, I've had this little voice in the back of my head saying someone's not making it out alive this season. Yeah, I'm sure technically by the end of 25, we got one of our baddies falling to his demise, but that's not what I'm talking about. So I didn't do a video last week on the channel. I had a corrupted video file, but honestly, it was a fine episode. It wasn't anything extraordinary, but it was decent. But in that episode, it did give me the impression like they were building up to someone not making it out alive. Now, Bam, of course, I know is gonna make it out alive unless they really want to be unexpected. But there was something about the vibe, and especially in this episode. I mean, one of the first shots we see is our boy Kang bloodied and beaten and bruised. And I'm like, yeah, maybe they kill him off. But then by the end of 25, we get to the situation where the platform's falling, and I'm like, I'm not going to be surprised if come next week they're all about to fall to their death. Hell, Coon decides to save our boy, sacrifice himself, and then they resolve it all in this episode. They throw one of our boy's Pokeballs, blast him away so he's no longer attached to Bam, and the gang's all here. So seemingly all's well that ends well, right? Maybe I'm paranoid for no reason. I won't know until I watch next week's episode. But it doesn't change the fact that there's something about what's going on where it feels a little too hopeful right now. And I'm expecting some form of loss. There's no way something crazy doesn't happen with the whole Emily shit. That's still an uncertainty, but yeah, I'm a little paranoid right now, but this was a damn good episode. I definitely say 25 was way more enjoyable than 24 last week. Not that 24 was bad, it just kind of existed. It did its purpose to kind of set up into the moments we got this episode. 25 was a banger. Now, I do got full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my full and good thought to any of these episodes, it's going to be over there exclusively. So, first things first. That scene with them on, like, the little rock, the floating rock before, there's lava all underneath. That scene was awesome. Those are like scenes pulled out of like some epic movies right at the end. Someone's definitely getting pushed over, and of course the villain's gonna try to grab us to bring us with them. But there's just something about the atmosphere and the fact that Thorn was working so well for Bam. Like, we felt like, I don't know, for me anyway, that this is like the finale of a story in a lot of senses, right? It just felt like our character has reached his full potential. We're gonna get that W. But I was also still waiting for someone to get pushed into that lava. Because there's some douchebag above who's pouring lava into the volcano. So I'm waiting for this shit to erupt, right? Like, it's just not going to be going good. And honestly, to everyone's credit, they worked rather well. Rack was being his adorable self as always. And then at one point, he transforms into his big boy self and just is wrecking havoc. But yeah, like, when they show this man, he takes his mask off at one point, right? Well, it gets blasted off his bitch-ass face. His eyes have been carved out, and we get the confirmation of what happened. Apparently God forbid you look at someone who is apparently above you. I don't care if it's Jesus Christ himself, man. The fact that you took a glance at someone who, from his point of words, was so beautiful. Ain't no one so beautiful that you're gonna be like that starstruck. Like, there's some hot people, don't get it twisted, but I refuse to accept it could be worth losing your eyes, or, you could still have such a positive image in your mind after losing your eyes. Not only that, they killed his family too. And probably to make it worse, they probably made him watch his family die in front of him, then carve out his eyes. Because, you gotta have that image burned into your brain, the last thing you ever see. Either way, completely messed up backstory. And honestly, I've really enjoyed this dude as a antagonist. I think the design and everything, both on the weapon front, basically like a shadowy scythe, the mask and everything, I don't know, the mask kind of gave me Squid Game vibes. It just really worked for me personally. I like this character, not in terms of a personality, like, oh, I want to be best friends, but in terms of an antagonist, absolutely. Seemingly fell to his death, but at the same time, anything's possible. He could still claw onto something and make it out. I don't know. It's just, I don't know, it's just like the hairs on the back of your neck just slightly standing up, just feeling concerned. I don't need someone to die. I'm not saying if they don't kill someone off at the end of, the season finale next week, it's missed. No, it's just, I've seen enough anime, I've read enough stories, I've watched enough movies, that there's something about it's almost like a sense of deja vu. Like, man, I've seen this play out before. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but they're going to do something. And it's probably going to be more closer on the Emily side. So, that's been a big plot point. We get actually a lot of information surrounding that in 25, so I don't believe it, but they're implying that no, Emily has completely dissolved, and yeah, so that, I don't know, maybe 6 episodes back when we saw some girl hooked up to a tube, that's a lie that they used to lure travelers in. Could be true, but I got my suspicions there actually is a human body still somewhere. But they're saying it was a great success on both fronts, turning someone into a living ignition weapon, aka BAM, and dissolving one into, what we got in terms of this Chat GPT. It's very interesting how Chat GPT, aka Emily, has manipulated up to this point. Very, very spooky stuff. But I just get the impression there's going to be one last big bombshell on there. And given our boy Kang not looking too hot to begin with, if, that ties together to my fear someone's not making it out alive, but also something crazy happening there, that could explain everything. But then again, maybe 26 is going to be relatively tame. Maybe a few bombshells, but, the main cast does make it out. I mean, we did finally reunite with Bam. Bam's Bam, no longer this edgy Viola persona, and Dorsey wants that date, damn it. Everything's going to be fine, right? Ralph says, chuckling on the Simpsons school bus, I'm in danger. It gives me bad vibes. Very much enjoyed 25. I thought the production was fire. I would say like a third of the shots in this episode, there was something about the art direction specifically that went hyper detailed on top of smooth movements. And then everything else, still like good animation. What this episode 25 looked at when it was at its worst. Had the entirety of season 2 looked like that to begin with, I don't think many people would have had, well, there still would have been some issues because it's still a visual difference from season 1's art direction, but I think the masses wouldn't have had much issues with the production because really, like, the second half of the season has been night and day difference, but most importantly, the endgame portion of season 2, they cooked. Which is usually the opposite, because usually it's if something's, having a rough production, the first half they try their best, and then really all the cracks start to shatter in the second half, but it was the reverse for some reason. I don't know why, but it really does feel like two different teams who worked on it, and Team B was way better, or Team A just stopped drinking midway through. I don't know, but either way, gonna end next week. I am very much hoping for a season 3 confirmation. I've been saying that for a bit. Yes, I had many of issues with season 2, but for a while I've been saying I would want and would watch a season 3, and I'm at the point of pretty much needing it because I'm very interested where the power scaling would go now that Bam's reached, I don't even know what I want to classify him as, but I'd be interested to see how he would struggle going forward. Your thoughts down below. Theories if you got any, if you're anime only, of course. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Juan Valdez, Big Boy J, Cryptic, Blood iOS, That Random Man Anime Man, Paul Tar, Travis Rains, Athmil, and we also have Cathical, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you'll have a good one.